The United States and India will be working together like never before to confront the threat of radical Islamic terrorism, a threat all over the world, actually.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the White House on Thursday, becoming the fourth world leader to meet with President Donald Trump since the start of his second term. Media outlets have described Trump and Modi's relationship as a bromance, and their latest meeting reflected their continued strong affinity. Trump has frequently criticized India for its high tariffs on imports and has reportedly referred to Modi as the king of tariffs. However, during their meeting on Thursday, the two leaders agreed to work on a framework for greater cooperation. Trump stated that he and Modi had committed to negotiations to resolve long-standing trade disparities between the two countries.
Today, the U.S. Trade deficit with India is almost $100 billion, and Prime Minister Modi and I have agreed that we'll begin negotiations to address the long-running disparities that should have been taken care of over the last 4 years, but they didn't do that, in the U.S.-India trading relationship with the goal of signing an agreement. And we want, we want a certain level playing field, which we really think we're entitled to. And
the proposed framework extended beyond tariff discussions and included collaborations on space exploration, international security, and energy trade.
Our meeting today, the Prime Minister and I reaffirmed that strong cooperation among the United States, India, Australia, and Japan, and it's crucial really to maintaining peace and prosperity, tranquility, even in the Indo-Pacific. The Prime Minister and I also reached an important agreement on energy that will restore the United States as a leading supplier of oil and gas to India. It will be hopefully their #1 supplier, and the groundbreaking.
Both Trump and Modi have been accused of democratic backsliding in their respective countries. As right-wing leaders, both recently secured re-election, with Modi winning in June and Trump in November. A significant portion of their public appearances on Thursday was dedicated to reaffirming their strong alliance. Trump commended Modi as a great leader, while Modi described Trump as a friend, amid their cordial exchanges. Modi offered an Indian adaptation of Trump's well-known slogan, "Make America Great Again," through a translator. Modi acknowledged that Americans recognized Trump's slogan, "Make America Great Again."
ट्रम्प की जब भी बात आती है तब मेक अमेरिका ग्रेट अगेन हर किसी को याद आता है, हर किसी को उससे प्रेरणा मिलती है। वैसे ही भारत में विकसित भारत 2047, जब भारत की आज़ादी के 100 साल होंगे, तब तक भारत को विकसित बनाने के संकल्प के साथ 140 करोड़ देशवासियों का संकल्प, उसको आज नई गति मिल रही है, नई ऊर्जा मिल रही है।
President Donald Trump and Make America Great Again are inseparable. Whenever we talk about President Trump, one has to talk about Make America Great Again. Similarly, that vision inspires everybody. Similarly, in India, we have the resolve of 1.4 billion people of India.
He suggested that when MAGA and MEGA come together, they form a mega partnership for prosperity. Modi also compared his nationalist agenda to Trump's America First policy.
अमेरिका विश्व का सबसे पुराना लोकतंत्र, भारत विशाल लोकतंत्र, और इसलिए हम दोनों का मिलने का मतलब 1+1 2 नहीं, 1 और 1 11 होता है, और ये 11 की शक्ति, वो ताकत विश्व के कल्याण के भी काम आएगी।
US is the world's oldest democracy, and India is the world's largest democracy. So when India and the US come together, they make 1+1 11 and not 2. And this is the power of 11 that is going to work for the welfare of the humanity.
He expressed admiration for Trump's prioritization of national interests and stated that he similarly placed India's interests above all else.
मैं राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप से एक बात हमेशा अप्रिशिएट करता आया हूँ, सीखता आया हूँ, कि वे राष्ट्रहित को सर्वोपरि रख कर के काम करते हैं। राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप की तरह मुझे भी भारत के हितों को सर्वोपरि रखते हुए कार्य करना, ये मेरे लिए सौभाग्य की बात है।
One thing that I deeply appreciate and I learned from President Trump is that he keeps the national interest supreme, and like him, I also keep the national interest of India at the top of everything else, and this has been my real fortune.
On Thursday, Modi arrived with his own proposals aimed at mitigating potential U.S. economic actions against India. Modi pledged to expand their joint efforts, stating that their goals would reach a new scale and scope.
Our vision for a developed India is to make India great again, or MEGA. When America and India work together, that is, when it's MAGA plus MEGA, it becomes MEGA, a mega partnership for prosperity. And it is this mega spirit that gives new scale and scope to our objectives. Friends, today, we have also set ourselves the target of more than doubling our bilateral trade to attain $500 billion by 2030.
Trump reiterated that Modi had recently announced reductions in India's restrictive tariffs, which had previously limited U.S. market access. Trump acknowledged these changes but still described India's tariffs as a significant issue.
We deepen our defense partnership will also strengthen our economic ties and bring greater fairness and reciprocity to our trading relationship. As a signal of good faith, Prime Minister Modi recently announced the reductions to India's unfair, very strong tariffs that limit U.S. access into the Indian market very strongly, and really it's a big problem, I must say. India imposes a 30 to 40 to 60 and even 70% tariff on so many of the goods, and in some cases far more than that. And as an example, a 70% tariff on U.S. cars going into India, which makes it pretty much impossible to sell those cars.
Despite past challenges, Trump expressed optimism about U.S.-India relations, stating that their bond was the strongest, I believe, it's ever been.
I'm pleased to report that with today's announcements, the friendship between the United States and India is the strongest, I believe, it's ever been. I think our relationship is the best it's ever been between two leaders of the two countries.
He indicated that India would increase its purchase of U.S. energy products, which would help reduce the trade deficit. Trump also announced an agreement that would restore the United States to India as a major oil and gas supplier.
We're going to work on that very hard, and we can make up the difference very easily with the deficit with the sale of oil and gas, LNG, of which we have more than anybody in the world. The Prime Minister and I also reached an important agreement on energy that will restore the United States as a leading supplier of oil and gas to India. It will be hopefully their #1 supplier. And the groundbreaking development for U.S. nuclear industry. India is also reforming its laws to welcome U.S. nuclear technology, which is at the highest level, into the Indian market.
The U.S. president also hinted at plans for an international infrastructure initiative similar to China's Belt and Road Initiative. He outlined a vision for a historic trade route connecting India, Israel, Italy, and the United States through ports, railways, and undersea cables.
I think for a long time to come, and we're going to be working very closely with India and other countries on that. But right now we're the leader by quite a bit. Finally, we agreed to work together to help build one of the greatest trade routes in all of history. It will run from India to Israel to Italy and onward to the United States, connecting our partners by ports, railways, and undersea cables, many undersea cables. It's a big development. It's a lot of money going to be spent.
Modi praised Trump's approach and referenced past attacks in Mumbai, likening them to genocide. He pledged that India would take appropriate legal action against individuals involved in those attacks. Modi affirmed that India and the United States would remain strong allies in the fight against terrorism.
India and US will stand strongly together in the fight against terrorism. We agree that in order to eliminate cross-border terrorism, we need concrete actions. And I'm very grateful to President Trump that he in 2008, somebody who carried out genocide in India, that criminal is now going to be handed over to India, and I'm grateful to President Trump for this. And appropriate action will be taken in the courts in India.
Trump, in turn, announced plans to significantly increase U.S. military sales to India, amounting to several $billion.
And today, the Prime Minister and I are announcing a framework to strengthen those ties even further economically, and the U.S.-India Compact for the 21st century is a historic initiative that will deepen every aspect of our partnership and our friendship. Starting this year, we'll be increasing military sales to India by many billions of dollars. We're also paving the way to ultimately provide India with the F-35 stealth fighters.